doorbell at Jimmy's house. Now when you come to my house, my doorbell sounds like this.
Hey, welcome to the People's Weekly on peoplesradiounited.com. I'm Tim. I'm here with Canadian Glenn. He's back from his vacation. How are you, Glenn?
Buenos dias. Good to be back. Yeah, I went. I saw it. Sucked. It's over.
You pretty much never had a vacation since you've been on here that hasn't sucked. I'm wondering if your vacationing skills are lacking.
Perhaps.
Do you wear flowery shirts and shit?
No.
See, that's your problem. If you wore flowery shirts, you'd be all right.
But I don't vacation in the U.S.
No, flowery shirts aren't a U.S. thing, I don't think. I think it's just a vacationing right kind of thing. So there, now we've solved your problem. Next time you know.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, what's going on with the view up here?
I shall return this week. It's likely to be my review of our Canadian Republican Party convention, known as the Conservative Party of Canada.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know you had a Canadian Republican Party.
Yeah, that's what they call themselves here.
They call themselves the Canadian Republicans?
No, the Conservative Party of Canada.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. I thought you meant like there was a branch of Republicans starting in Canada. Never mind. So yeah, that should be awesome. Talking about a fascist group of fascists.
Yes.
Yep. People's Radio is doing the same thing we always do, surprising you if we have a show other than this one. And sometimes a surprise if we have this one. The last 3 weeks were hectic, Glenn. I don't know. I mean, you were on the first show with me like 3 weeks ago when I was not by a Wi-Fi connection. Then we skipped the show because everybody was sick. I was working double shifts and you were on vacation. And last week's show was just tragic. Technical difficulties because, again, I wasn't at a Wi-Fi spot. So actually I'm home now for once, which is giving me cool Wi-Fi, so hopefully we won't have any technical difficulties today.
Right on.
So yeah, you want to get into it? Hey, Olive. Do you have anything else to say for the beginning part? Announcement, whatever it is.
No, whatever. Oh yeah, fuck pipelines. That's Canadian related.
Fuck pipelines, you're right. Oh, Stuart's in here. Acorn Electron. Welcome back to Glenn. Hey,
Thanks,
Stuart.
man.
Stuart, you're always awesome. Stuart, just by the way, on the People's Radio website, peoplesradiounited.com, we're switching some things out slowly. And we got Acorn Electron's art up in there, so check that out. It's like the last link on the right side of the screen. You could download that art, use it for whatever you need, and it's awesome. Check it out. Go click on the link. It's some revolutionary art, and it's 8-bit art, so it's like just different and pretty cool. So check it out. You can get there straight from our website. What is it, Stuart? Is it bsassyart.com or bsassy? Hang on, we're waiting on Stuart. But anyway, I have nowhere to look right now. But anyway, the first thing we're going to talk about is New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo accepted a $25,000 donation to his re-election campaign from sexual predator movie producer Harvey Weinstein's lawyers. How much does it bother you that pretty much anyone with enough money can pay off politicians in the United States? Oh, real quick before we get into that, artbsassy.com. That's ARTBESASSY.com. Check it out. That's where he's putting his art now. And it's all there. Thanks, Stuart. So yeah, back to this. So Andrew Cuomo accepted $25,000 from Harvey Weinstein's lawyers to shut down an investigation into Harvey Weinstein, I guess. And bribery is like legal and rampant in politics right now in the United States. Is it like that in Canada at all, Glenn?
Yeah, but it's not so visible, you know? We just don't have the media focus on it. It's not, I guess it's not as popular yet up here to warrant it getting wall-to-wall coverage. But yeah, fucking rights, it goes on all the time.
Yeah, it's here so blatant, and they don't seem even ashamed of it. Like all these big corporate donors are donating to both parties ridiculous amounts of money, whatever the limits are, and finding ways around the limits in some cases. And these politicians are they're bidding for them against the will of the people that they're supposed to represent. Like, I think a year ago or a while back, I put out a tweet like, if we all just take $1, a few million of us just take $1 and go to Washington, we could probably get something done. Just buy it, just bribe somebody.
Yep.
It's that sick right now. I don't know how to stop it either. I think it has to go through legislation unless the people wake up and get out there and just start smashing shit.
And that's not going to happen.
As I'm starting to realize slowly more and more every day.
Well, I mean, ever since Citizens United decision of the Supreme Court, everybody's been saying, this is what's going to happen. Well, now it is. And at first it was just, about high-level campaigns, like presidential campaigns and Senate campaigns, and donations to the committees that recruit and run primaries and shit. But it's going right down. Actually, we hear more about crooked donations at municipal level in Canada than we do about federal. And that's probably reversed in the U.S.
I think it's rampant everywhere. But yeah, you're right. The bigger the campaign, the more it seems to be going on. Yeah, it's just insane. It's totally insane, and it's legal. I mean, it wasn't that long. I don't know when it was. I could look it up, but not right now because I don't want to screw up the show. But it wasn't that long ago where they made it legal to bribe themselves. And if you think you're going to go and say, "Oh, these politicians will see it our way," we just got to complain enough and say, "You can." No, they're taking the bribes. Your Democrats, your Republicans, all of them. None are better in this. None are better at anything, in my opinion. But for this, for real, they all take the bribes and they all serve their corporate masters who pay them. I mean, look at Betsy DeVos and Eric Prince. I mean, they paid their way into the government, basically.
Yep.
She's the Secretary of Education, and she hates education unless it's some religious shit.
And you pay for it. Big.
Yeah, I think she donated some millions of dollars to get that position.
Yeah. But yeah, we do definitely have different laws in Canada that prevents this result in the United States. I mean, this didn't happen overnight in the U.S. A law removed here, a law removed there, change a rule, win a court decision here, there. That takes time, and we just have different laws, mostly around political fundraising, donating, like PACs are not on every street corner in Canada. like they are in the U.S. We do have a lot more rules, but, again, erosion. And, like I've said lots of times, Canada is basically 8 to 10 years behind the U.S. for political fuckery. So give us some time, I guess.
Yeah, like all these Democrats are all upset with In-N-Out Burgers restaurants. And they're like, oh, you donated to the Republicans. And then I was like, yeah, you're right, we did. We donated the same amount to the Democrats because that's how it works. You donate to both parties. And then whoever gets in is going to do what you want. You have more say.
Well, go ahead, finish.
No, that's it. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like the Democrats are upset about In-N-Out contributing to the Republicans. Well, what that tells me is they didn't donate to the Democrats.
I don't know. According to In-N-Out, they did to both. I don't know.
Well, apparently not enough.
Yeah, maybe they donated more to the Republicans. But I mean, that's the way it works. All these people saying, "Oh, George Soros is funding the anti-fascists who are Democrats or whatever," which isn't the case at all. I mean, I'm sure some anti-fascists are Democrats, but most of them, I mean, I don't know, a lot of these cats that they're thinking are anti-fascist. They're not thinking anti-fascist is just the person who hates fascism that's against Nazis and stuff. It was pretty much the majority of people. They're talking about the cats that's out there in the streets ready to bash some fools. They're definitely not with the Democrats. And the Democrats get money from Soros for sure, and so do the Republicans. So I don't understand where all this stuff comes in. Most of these groups donate to both sides because that makes sense. Because there's both Democrats and Republicans, you know what I mean, in different political seats all over the country. So of course you're going to donate to as many of them as you can. And their opponents, if they're in an election season, trying to make sure that whoever wins got your back. And it's disgusting because these people are supposed to have our back, the people, not just the ones with the money.
Yeah, well, that system doesn't exist. I actually got linked to a YouTube video of a talk that Chris Hedges gave in Canada last week at the University of Waterloo, I believe. And, I mean, he took 30, 40 minutes of his hour and a half to just explain to Canadians how Trump happened. And, that was, he spent a few minutes talking about in the United States, there is the two-party illusion, but there is one party with two wings, and that is the corporatist party.
Exactly.
Look
at this, the hero, I don't know what her name is, Cortez, Aserio Cortez, the woman running in on the East Coast in somewhere in New York, I think. Yeah. Yesterday she said abolish ICE does not mean abolish ICE. It just means change ICE a little. Her Democrat was showing right there.
Not only that, but I mean, for a Latina to take that attitude, it's like, okay, well, thanks for being a diversion. What is your club number again?
Yeah, none of these people that they're hailing up to the Democratic Socialists. First of all, we established that was bullshit weeks ago. You can't be a Democrat and a socialist.
Well,
regardless of what these people say, you can't say, I'm a socialist, but I believe in capitalism. How does that even work?
No. Well, I guess when I questioned what you were saying, I was not clued in or not using the American definition of Democrat. That's where I fucked up.
Well, I'm going by the people that pretty much created democratic socialism when they're just as Democrats and seem to be working, which is the Young Turks. And that's exactly, she said, I am a Democrat and I am a socialist. I believe in capitalism, but I believe in socialism. Like, how does that? Like
Well,
saying,
I think what you're describing there is now democratic socialist is a brand in the U.S.
yeah, is exactly what it is.
Okay. Well, yeah, then it's just, the next step.
Because
That's all.
you know, years ago, way before Trump, even before Obama, what's the difference between Democrats and Republicans? Everybody be like, oh, if you don't know, you're stupid. You're stupid. But now these people are waking up and they're like, there really is no difference. This asshole that we called an idiot's been right all along.
That's it.
So now the Democrats are like, oh, well, we have another group here. It's not a third group. They're just Democrats. They need to say what they are. Because in the end, they're going to back all the Democratic policies. They're not going to do shit. They're going to be about as effective as Bernie Sanders. So,
Which is not really.
which is, yeah, not at all.
Well, Hedges had a lot to say about that too. I mean, he said, how does this happen? Well, yeah, it's a long, steady process. But he says the things that people don't pay attention to, and too many people are just not even aware of now. You go back 30, 40 years in U.S. social discourse, and the people that have completely disappeared are people like Howard Zinn and Hunter S. Thompson. These are people that had a street-level view of reality. And when they described it, it was almost like a natural discourse to them that the solutions that could actually take hold just happened to be what people consider to be socialist. That's all. It's like, guess what? The fucking solutions have a very good chance of being socialist in nature. And that entire viewpoint is gone in the U.S. these days.
Yeah, I've said it a million times. I think socialism, a lot of things could work if they didn't have this big government involved and rulers and stuff. I guess that's why I'm an anarchist. But
Yep.
yeah, we got to take care of the people. Like, screw these corporations. They're allowed to do whatever they want. And all they're doing is screwing us over and maximizing profits and making us sick and working us to death, literally, every day, all day, taking our lives away from us. And they don't need this much. Nobody needs that much money. They're not giving it to their workers. So it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense how they do that. Oh, Stewart said media giants donating to political parties. Mainstream media boggles the brain. Yeah, media corporations donate as well.
Well, I don't even see either one of them as the real power. I mean, they're just divisions of the real power. I mean, they're both bought and paid for, and they work together or adversarially as the script dictates,
Yeah, I just think it's ridiculous. I mean, like I said, the people need to wake up. If that's what it takes is money, then we need to get 1 million people to donate $1 and walk into a politician's office and say, we're here to bribe you. Do our bidding for us, just like you do the big corporations. I mean, that's what it takes, and let's just do it. Let's make a big spectacle out of it and shame them until the other ones start saying, oh, we can't let this happen like this. Just do whatever we have to do. Because I'm going to tell you like this, politicians are whores, straight up. Anything for money. Anything for money.
But the thing is, how do you think they got there then? I mean, this is something that I think is becoming more apparent to Americans and the American system now, and this has been going on in Canada forever. The whole issue is about nominations. Who even gets to have their name on the ballot? And if they won't pass that test about being in the bag, doing as instructed and receiving money to do so, if they don't fit that mold, you never even find out who the fuck they are.
Yeah.
people that get on the ticket up here, you already know what they've had to agree to. And that's, in Canada especially, people say, why are there so few good people who are attracted to politics? Well, that's a fucking answer, because they're not allowed in.
Yeah, people say that a lot. Like, oh, if you hate everything so much, why don't you get involved in politics? Because that's the problem. Why would I ever
Well,
be part of the problem?
well, any part of the solution isn't welcome with a political party. That's what people have to understand.
Yeah.
They just keep saying, well, my team will do better. Fuck your team. It's a team. That's the problem.
What's the problem is it's two teams and they're both working for the same
No.
team.
Yeah, it's
Like
one team.
it's like a rigged game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an intra-squad game.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah,
I'm not a sports kind of person.
But yeah, one side wears the home jerseys, one side wears the road jerseys. It's the same fucking team.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem with the U.S., and that's the result. I mean, there was a time, not that long ago, when Congress would give the president a whooping when he needed it, or when they felt like it, and vice versa. But now, what's going on? Everybody's fucking cashing in. That's all that's going on.
Yep. Robbing us blind.
That's what's changed. And with your system, it was allowed to happen. With ours, that level of depravity is not possible. But I mean, we're just a sideshow anyway. I mean, we got the population of California, so it doesn't really matter much.
Stay away from our shoes. Why am I still on that? Let's get over the shoe thing.
Yeah, really. I mean, that was going on before I went on holidays. Like, holy fuck!
It was just
a long time on the internet.
It was that shocking because I've never once seen a case of a Canadian coming to steal our shoes. Like, where does this guy come up with that stuff? He just makes stuff up.
Exactly.
Hey, real quick on a tangent, did you see what he did with this? He went to a rally and I guess some woman was murdered by some undocumented dude. And he's making this huge thing about it, like going on and on and on and on and on. Like there's no crimes in this country that, you know what I mean? And there's there's so many murders, so many gun deaths, so much terrible stuff going on. You're going to pick this one because the dude wasn't born in the United States and just go on and on about it.
Yep.
Don't you think if it was a problem, he'd be having hundreds of these things all the time to bring up, not just one every so often?
One every 4 years?
Yeah, I mean, I think he said, what is he had 2 or 3 now? And the whole time he's been running or whatever. It's like, it's not an epidemic. You know what is an epidemic? It's just murder in general. Not by
Americans.
Citizens or non-citizens or, Yeah, I watched the all the mainstream news rushes out there to interview the Trumpkins because they're so important.
Yeah.
And it's just like they don't even say Mexican people or Latino people or even Hispanic. It's just illegals.
Well, yeah, because it's undefinable and it's a very wide brush. And no matter what happens, we can make it fit. I mean...
It's insane. It's just, they're so brainwashed.
Well, that's what the Conservative Party in Canada has been running with for 3 or 4 months now. Illegal. That's their big word. Illegal. And nothing they're describing is by law illegal. They just like the buzz they get out of it.
I mean, a human being walking across land should never be illegal, no matter what fences or pretend lines and crap like that you put up all over, It's
But
like are you catching rabbits that cross the border and stringing them up and calling them illegal rabbits and
well, rabbits.
lizards, whatever? I'm just saying, like is every species like this? Or are you just picking on humans?
Yeah, it's because rabbits don't pay tax, don't vote, so they don't matter. There's nothing to be had with documenting the rabbits.
Some do, like the Easter Bunny.
Who knows? Maybe underground in the rabbit world, there's some fascist rabbits that are fucking patrolling that border.
I never thought of that. But we wouldn't know because they look just like the other rabbits to us. Just like the rabbits probably
That's
look at
right.
us and be like, look at all these humans. I don't understand what they're doing.
That's right.
I hope they can move freely unlike us rabbits.
There you go.
Wow. It all makes
Today's
sense when you bring it down to a rabbit level.
Today's show is sponsored by Citrus Skunk.
Yeah, I'm hitting a vapor pen, not vapor. I don't even know what I'm smoking weed. That's good enough, right?
But this whole thing about Cuomo and Weinstein's lawyers, this is just how it is, man. I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't really think it matters how you feel about it. There's absolutely nothing on the horizon that's going to do anything to change this.
Yeah, what you said before, though, Glenn, should put everybody listening here to shame if they're American citizens. It happened in small increments.
Oh, yeah.
And all this stuff happens in small increments. And there's a lot of us bitching every time about a lot of these things as soon as we see them. But you know what happens? Nobody else cares. They're like, it'll fix itself. Oh, no, that doesn't matter. They'll never do that. It's... People are so dumb sometimes, man. It's like, do you not know historically, if you give these assholes an inch, they take a mile and start some crazy stuff? But it won't happen. Not these people. Not like this. It won't happen here. They're delusional, man.
Mm-hmm.
Totally delusional. And I'm the one with the mental issues, right? Jeez.
I mean, how much does it bother me that money can buy governance? Well, it fucking bothers me. It's completely wrong.
Well,
it's amoral. It's inhumane. It's everything that's not supposed to happen.
Okay, now imagine if you were a citizen here, how would you feel about it? Wouldn't you be kind of enraged?
Well, that would be a whole different world. Because, I can't just go buy a gun here. I could there. So I mean, it's an entire different scenario.
Yeah, you can go buy a legal gun pretty easily, unless you have some kind of felonies or something, or on probation, or a few restrictions where you can't get one.
Yeah.
And even easier to get an illegal one because the police sell them out into the streets nonstop, and they always have.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a completely different world. There are times I think, what would I do if I was an American and this was happening? And it was like at the end of every scenario, I end up behind bars.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, if you don't have numbers, you have no power, and that's what they know, and that's what these stupid people won't get. Like,
yep.
We're a lot stronger with 10 or 20,000 people than we are with 200. You want to make them sweat, get people out in the streets, get people out there with me. We can wreak havoc together. But I do it alone. I'm dead. I'm locked up. I'm in jail. You do it in numbers, some people might be, but at least you have a chance. I'm not trying to fight a battle I can't win. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm not looking to become a martyr. But
there ain't no martyr, man. People should be like, look, and this is just my opinion, but like, if something terrible happened and I got murdered on camera for protesting or something, or locked away forever. I don't want people to send a bunch of money in this, and I want people up in the streets tearing stuff up. I want people tearing down the system that got me locked up.
That's right.
I want buildings on fire. I want things blowing up. I want cop cars torched. I want cops whooped and laid out in the streets. You know what I mean? I want mayhem. I want people to take this shit back, and then you can let me out. But a bunch of money to get lawyers and stuff, man, come on. Get out there. Wreak havoc. And that should happen every time someone gets shot by the police. They should be scared to shoot people because they just know a city's going to get burned to the ground. You know, cops are going to get hurt, maybe worse. No one's going to be safe because these cops just take people's lives for granted or whatever it is. Any injustice, man. You sit by and take it. Now they can do more next time because last time they sat by and take it, what are they going to do now? Stop sitting by and taking it. We should be enraged every time. We should never forget the cops are killing people every day. Then why are we even, doing anything other than surrounding police departments with thousands of people, outnumbering them and forcing them into compliance?
Well, that's just it. Consent is being manufactured constantly, and I think one of the better things that the corporate media did about the entire Ferguson episode was, if you really watch video, especially citizen video, not corporate video, that's exactly what did happen there. There were enough people that would not go away that finally got some change.
Okay, but it was confined to one area. Why didn't that spread across the whole country? I mean, it did for a day here, 2 days here, a week here and there. But I mean, this happens every day. It happens every night. If you're mad about the police killing people, then stay mad. Don't say, oh, I won't be mad this week. I'll be mad next week. It's just, it's ridiculous. Oh, I'll go to the big march with the celebrities and the assholes. Or, oh, I'll go stand out here for a day and do something and hold a sign. Get out there. Everyone needs to get out there. Like if every time there was something and going on in Canada and Glenn says, oh, I don't feel like going today, other people will hold it down. And then a million other people are like, oh, I don't feel like going today. Everyone else will hold it down. Nobody's out there. You have to go. You have to say, I'm putting my body on the line here, and everyone else need to say the same thing and get out there in numbers, and then we have power. Without that, there's nothing, man. Like, I don't know.
I know.
It's just like, it's so simple. The solution is so simple. But people are scared. People are scared when stuff starts to get real. The police line up, everyone leaves except for a small group, comparatively speaking.
Yeah.
I mean, anything the police have, not the military stuff, but you can get stuff to counteract that. They want to throw smoke in the street. We can throw smoke and gas in the street. They want to do this and that. We can line up with shields and batons, and outnumber them. Use their own tactics against them. How about kettling the police? Could you imagine that?
Well, it has happened a couple times, and they shit their pants.
Oh, it's happened quite a few times. But I'm saying if it was a regular thing, like the police know they're going to be outnumbered 80 to 1, and the cats out there have the same stuff they have. And we're going to surround you until you just leave because we don't want you in our streets because you're murderous, thug gangbangers. It's,
See, that's something that needs to become a thing. Police squads get kettled, they disarm and take off their badges, and they are allowed to leave the kettle.
That's genius. I like it. Then they call in the military eventually. So that's what people are going to say. So what? Bring more people. Kettle the military. They're going to start shooting into protesters. They've done it before, but I mean, who cares?
Well, I think
you got it. You got to do what you got to do, man.
Yeah, I know. But as far as that subject goes, if you remember back to the Lady Liberty movement in Tiananmen Square in 1989, what the Chinese government did was bring in army from remote parts of the country. And these were all people in the army who were heavily fucking by the book, and they'd never been to city or anything like that. They were like a regional indigenous army unit. You can't do that in the United States because the U.S. military recruits from everywhere and deploys everywhere. They don't have the isolated American forces that will have a different attitude about facing Americans with live weapons. You know what I mean? In China, they could pull it off because the students that got killed in Tiananmen Square were by members of the Chinese army that lived 2,000 miles away.
I don't know, man. I'm like, if you can go to any country and just start shooting a bunch of people you don't know, you can do it anywhere.
No, I don't think so.
Following orders is following orders. They've gunned down United States citizens before. Now that doesn't mean there won't be some that might turn on them and be like, hell no, I ain't doing this. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, there always have been. Every time there's been National Guard deployed, especially against students, there have been members who refused. Every time. It's just that it's, a minority, a small number.
Yeah.
But I mean, the longer it goes, I think it's harder for the government to use the military on the civilian population.
I don't know. It seems like
that's why the police are so heavily armed. They are the domestic army.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got National Guard here too, so it's like they come and support the police, and they come with military stuff, and they shoot people.
That's up to the governor.
Yeah. So I guess what we need to do is surround the governor's office first and cut his communication lines.
This is sounding like Chile now.
Hey, we can do this. We can do it. So yeah, I guess we've went on a tangent after talking about bribery.
Yes.
Andrew Cuomo and Weinstein. So yeah, number 2, the warmongering racist and all-around terrible human being John McCain has died. And all of a sudden everyone seems to be talking about him as one of the greatest men to walk on the earth. Sorry. They're saying he was like a saint. Why is it that when horrible people die, many pretend that they were great people? If when Hitler died, did they start saying Hitler did some great things and he was such a great guy, and you know what I mean? Besides the little Holocaust thing, other than that, what kind of crap is that, man?
Well, Hitler lost. That's why he don't get that. I think this fits into the way America...
No. According to Trump, he doesn't like losers. McCain was a loser. He likes people that aren't captured. So McCain lost too.
Who gives a fuck what Trump says? This works for where the discussion is in the U.S. right now, because now the government can take McCain and play him up as a war hero, a Republican. They're not going to talk about him losing the presidential election if they can help it.
And are they going to talk about him choosing Sarah Palin?
No, definitely not. Just today, Pence got sent by Trump to give the eulogy in the Capitol Rotunda.
I saw that.
Well, okay, that's as much as you can expect from that fucking banana in the Oval Office, because he couldn't give a eulogy if his life depended on it.
I'd like to see that, honestly.
The fuck?
Do you know how awesome a Trump eulogy would be? He started talking about his crowd sizes and crooked Hillary.
That's about it. That's exactly why they sent Ayatollah Pence.
Oh, man.
But McCain's death is going to be used for the jingoism, for empire, you know? You wait. PBS is going to start running all their John McCain shit. You wait. It's going to be very coordinated. But, you know, this is the thing with men of power like this that are around for so long. To get that power and stick around that long, you have to do certain things, of course. And McCain will always be remembered as the American senator who was always willing to meet with terrorists, who was always willing to campaign to kill innocent people, who was always willing to insist that the American way was the only way. So, you know, I ain't going to forget that. A lot of people ain't going to forget that. What they have to say in the newsreels of the 21st century, I don't give a shit. But it just shows how quick the decline has been. Because when you look at McCain, when he ran for president, he was the one who had the balls on national TV when that crazy old white bitch said something about Obama being a Muslim. And McCain stopped her, and he explained very clearly that we're not going to talk about that. You're wrong. He's an American. He loves this country as much as I do. And I can be sure of that. Trump would never do anything like that. He would egg her on. So for as much as a monster that McCain was, he still had an idea of what America maybe should be more like.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but most people are not like Trump. Pence wouldn't have done that either. I mean, it's just McCain is a horrible person, and I don't know. I don't know why everyone.
I agree. He was a horrible person, but there are a lot worse. That's the shitty part of this whole pretense, you know?
So because somebody has people worse than them, we should consider them great and a hero and lionize them.
No, I don't agree with that part at all. Like I said, he's being used as a hero of the Reich. That's what he's being used for. And you can look at Biden, of all people,
in tears.
But it was Joe Biden, the Democrat vice president, that defeated him on the ticket that the family chose to give the eulogy at his funeral. That says a big thing about how much America has changed in 10 fucking years. Yeah. Even though they're all part of the same club, even though they're all part of the same evil machine, just being able to pull that off with such quote-unquote class and dignity compared to what's running the show now, that's a pretty stark difference, man, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Trump is a brand of his own, definitely. But it's just, I always say, I think it's just there's more honesty in the Trump thing. I don't even know if it's honesty. It's just no shame, I guess. The other, like I always say, the other politicians pretend to be decent people.
And Trump doesn't.
Trump doesn't care to look like a decent person. He wants to look like, I don't know what he wants to look like, but whatever it is, it's not a decent person. That's not his goal. That's not what he cares about. He thinks people should bow down to him, and he can do whatever he wants and act however he wants.
I think he's a combination of Caligula and Nero.
Yeah, I thought of Caligula, but that makes sense. Just a self-absorbed.
So, I mean,
king.
As far as McCain goes, yeah, he was evil, but he did have limits.
Yeah, I mean, but we can say that about Bush and Reagan and Obama and all the other horrible, Clinton, all the other horrible
Yeah,
fascist warmongers that have been in the White House too, or politicians, Pelosi, all of them, all up and down.
I agree. But none of them took us to where we are now.
I would argue a lot of them did.
Not domestically. I don't think so.
Really?
Well, was there shit like Charlottesville with
Well,
W?
well, I mean,
No.
I think their policies and their signing Patriot Acts and NDAAs and taking our rights away little by little has led us to where we are now. And I think and people not impeaching other presidents and letting them get away with war crimes and letting people drone U.S. citizens and bail out bank. Like every single thing they've done has led us to where we are now. All their corruption, not getting called out and not getting stopped, has led to super corruption now, I think.
No, that makes sense. I mean, Chris Hedges would certainly agree with you. He said that Trump is the natural consequence for where this has been going. So, yeah, I get that. But I guess that kind of says a lot about my overall viewpoint. I was expecting the level of oppression to remain constant, and that's as much as I hoped for. And it's not happening.
No, it's going to get worse and worse.
Yeah, the time is nigh.
And it doesn't matter Trump or not. If Pence comes in, if they all go and Ryan comes in, and if they all go and a Democrat gets elected in 2020, nothing's going to stop but the face on it, and maybe more people might support it because of the face on it.
Yeah.
I mean, Obama was a fascist. And people are still saying, I wish he was president for now and forever. He was the greatest man on earth and blah, blah, blah. He was a scumbucket, fascist, war criminal like the rest of them.
See, this is another problem with the current way that citizens judge politicians. It's all on a personal level. What did 8 years of Obama's presidency do for you? Well, if you happened to get out of college at the right time and get the right job, you probably thought he was fucking great. If you were in an inner city and you're an American of color, you probably didn't think he was that fucking great. I mean, this is the thing.
No. I would think that I would argue that a lot of people would think he was great because there was great propaganda.
Trump, yeah, but
go ahead.
I'm talking about the reality, though. I mean, never mind your fucking feels. Look at the facts. And this is the problem with what we have with the digital world. All these one-person viewpoints. What do they really represent? Fuck all, because they're not organized, they're not measured, they're not anything. It's just fucking noise. And that includes mine. There's no focus. Nobody, like you can ask somebody on Long Island what they thought of Obama's presidency, and you can ask somebody in Philadelphia. That's not a very far distance apart, but it could be a world apart.
Yeah.
And these get presented as valid opinions. No, it's two pieces to a huge fucking puzzle.
Yeah. Everyone's different, but the facts are certain things are better for everyone. If everyone's taken care of, then that's at least.
Yeah.
It just seems like we shouldn't have homeless people in the streets and billionaires.
Yep.
4,000 billionaires in the world or something, and how many millions of homeless people, or maybe billions, I don't know. People with nothing, people living in poverty, people who can't feed their families, and then there's people with 23 cars and 18 mansions and don't know what to do with the money in the bank other than to let it collect dust.
And Betsy DeVos with a $40 million yacht docked on Lake Michigan flying a Cayman Islands flag.
Yeah, I heard about that.
To avoid what, 10 grand a year?
Oh, is that all? Yeah. Nothing says we evade taxes like that yacht. and the flag.
Unbelievable.
Man, these people are so corrupt.
Well, I mean, there's just no price to be paid. You know, they know they can do it. That's what's wrong.
So, Glenn, let me ask you this: what do you think? Say Trump dropped dead today. Everyone would cheer for a while, but I mean, afterwards, do you think all the Democrats and Republicans and all the people that have feuded with him online would be the ones to say, "Oh, he was a great guy and he had some bad qualities, but he was," you know what I mean?
Well, there certainly would be a certain percentage that's exactly what they would say. And then there'd be another small percentage that would say Jesus has left the building. And, you know, I wouldn't say fuck all, because that'd just be the smart thing to do, I think.
Yeah,
I just smile and sleep better. That's all.
yeah, but it's just like, is Kissinger still alive? I was talking to someone about when Henry Kissinger dies, they're gonna say all these great things about him, aren't they?
Yep.
Why?
Because that's the propaganda, man. That's how history is written. He's already done all these things you're going to hear about. And they said he was great when he did them, so they ain't going to change their tune when the fucker dies.
Well, let me just say this now. I hope he dies a painful, miserable death as soon as possible. He's way too old. He should have been dead long ago. And Cheney too. Just take all these scum, dude, and let him. And don't say a damn good thing about him. Focus on all the horrible atrocities these people have done instead of the few good things.
What happened there?
I don't know. Let me go check on Olive real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Just talk to the people, Glenn.
All right. I agree. People like Kissinger, Cheney, Rumsfeld, the Bushes, the Clintons, yeah, they should all burn in hell. There's no doubt. But when you make history and you're on the winning side, then history is written for your benefit. And you know, in a way, when you talk about why won't they tell the truth about Kissinger when he dies, look at the problem with taking down fucking statues. You know, it's related. It's the same kind of concept.
I'm back.
Well,
yeah.
You know, we built him up. We can't tear him down. We only do that to movie stars and pop stars and once in a while an evangelicist. But, you know, we don't do that to our politicians and our military leaders. Hell no. I mean, history is so fickle. Take somebody like General Douglas MacArthur, who actually did, once he got kicked out, tell a lot of truths. And he's not remembered as the same place as Eisenhower, because Eisenhower played ball and became president. He only spilled the beans when he left. But MacArthur went against Truman publicly. So it doesn't matter what he accomplished in his career. He just made one wrong decision to the chain of command, to the power structure, and he got bumped down in history. So, I mean, you know, how can you expect that world to diss Henry Kissinger? It's just not going to happen.
But it's not just that world. It's the average person. I see people on Twitter like, oh, McCain was a good guy, you know. Through all the bad, there was still a lot of good. He did something great once. Like, I can understand why they do it, because it's their people. But what has McCain done for any of these people here in the streets? They should all be like, screw McCain and every other politician just like him.
Well, that's because, like I said, these people have an opinion of themselves based on what? A fucking Times article? You know?
I don't know, man. This is... Man, there's so many people that are just not willing to get free.
Exactly.
Because you have to free your mind first, and calling war heroes and human rights violators and racist scum heroes and great people, that's not where you start.
Exactly.
I mean, I guess it's better than calling the average Nazi that runs people over very fine people, but it's still in the same kind of category, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
Manufacturing consent, man.
What's going on in the chat here? Stuart said, keep the sleeping masses that are in the middle dreaming of being billionaires so they never have to. Oh, they never move to change the system. Yeah, I think we said that before in a different way. It's like everyone thinks they're the next billionaire. They're going to win the lottery. They're going to have the next big idea. They're going to have the next, $1 million business, and then they'll be above all the little people that are like they are now, and they can look down on everyone.
Yeah, meanwhile, next time there's a thunderstorm, go run around outside with tinfoil on, because you got a more likely chance of being hit by lightning than winning a big lottery.
Or becoming a millionaire or billionaire. I mean, do the math. Just look up how many billionaires there are in the world or in the United States. Look up how many millionaires, and then look up the population and tell me what you think the odds are that you're going to be the next one.
Oh, no, but I'm special.
No, nobody's special. Some people...
Wait a minute. I've been told my whole life I'm special. What are you talking? No, you're wrong.
That's like... That's how it is, like beating your head against the wall.
Yeah, there we go. There's America in 30 seconds.
Everybody's going to have a new album that's going to make them millions of dollars. Everyone's going to be the next celebrity or actor, actress. Everybody's going to be the next inventor or CEO of some new billion-dollar startup. Everyone's going to do this or that or whatever. Come on, y'all. If you do the art, give it to the people. Screw the money. If everyone gives their art to the people, then the people will have a lot of lovely art and they'll be happier.
Yeah, but see, that's what's changed, though. The artists who feel like that, that'll probably be what they do, and they'll have a rewarding experience. But it's the people who only want to do X, Y, or Z for the money in it. They don't give a fuck what they have to do. They just want the money.
Yep. Back to that word, whores.
Indeed.
We're all whores, Glenn.
Okay.
Every time we have to go to sit 8 hours at doing something that we normally wouldn't do to try to get money to pay some bills. Whores.
Can I call myself a call person instead?
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah, it's got a little more class.
Yeah, I'm not trying to use class here. I'm trying to shame people into smashing the system.
Oh.
Don't be a whore. But but for real, man, it's just terrible. We got to come up with something better than this capitalist stuff too. Way better. Maybe we should try democratic socialism.
Well, I never seriously thought that I might be alive for the end of civilization as we know it, but I might yet. Mr. Robot isn't so far out to lunch.
What does that mean?
Well, if there's another crash now, like there was in 2008, what are they going to do to fix it? They can't lower interest rates. They can't do quantitative easing all over again because it'll drive the dollar down. China already holds more fucking paper on the U.S. than anybody wants to talk about. If it happens again, how do they get out of it this time? They can't spend their way out of it. It just won't work.
Just print more money and make it worthless.
No, it'll be like Weimar Germany then, where you take a wheelbarrow of money to the grocery store for a fucking loaf of bread. It won't work.
Yeah, come on, Glenn. We have cards now. That wheelbarrow will be in the bank.
Yeah, well, that's another thing too. Take a look at Greece. All of a sudden, nobody's cards work.
Yeah. That
You
would
know?
that would piss some people off if nobody's cards worked.
Well,
But I wonder if they get out in the streets and fight it, or if they would just be like, "Oh well, we'll wait until they fix it."
well, that's a choice to be made, but I'd say if you have to wait until that happens, you've already waited too long.
Man, right now, this very second, we waited too long.
Yes.
3 years ago, we waited too long. 5 years ago, we waited too long. 8 years ago, we waited too. I can just keep going. You know what I mean?
Yep.
20 years ago, when Reagan was elected, we waited too long. Bush waited too long. Clinton waited too long. Bush waited too. You can go all the way down the line. We waited too long every damn time, man. This shit should have been done. But what we're doing is we're just letting them keep going and going and going.
Yep.
There's a whole bunch of punk ass people out there that are just like, oh, I'm content with my bullshit 3 jobs, paying my bills in my small apartment, barely getting by. Yeah.
Living the dream.
Living the dream, yeah. I can afford to take the kids to Disneyland once a year, so I'm balling. or I owe so many thousands on this new super car that everyone else wants, and I'm awesome. Yeah. I'm in debt up to my eyeballs and have all this nice shit. I'm so awesome. I'm better than those people living in the tent under the freeway.
Well, that's been what's been conditioned. That's success.
How? Your whole life is just...
Pay.
Oh, by the way, if you're looking at the topics of the show, we moved on to the rant about capitalism, evidently.
I would say so.
Yeah, I just realized that. Some
No,
good-ass reefer.
You just segued right into it, man. I just let it happen.
It's genius. Genius how we do this. It's like magic.
Well, considering this palatial studio that we have.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like just me and Glenn BSing over a crappy Wi-Fi line on Skype. But really, like we're both in this giant studio, and we have thousands of people working to get this to sound just the way it does. Because we're trying to be down with the people, and it comes out so professional, it has like little sparkles on it or something. So they have to tone it down so it sounds more down to earth, and make Glenn sound like he's in Canada, and make me sound like I'm in LA. That's how it works.
And everybody gets paid by Soros check.
Oh man, yeah. What do you get, Glenn, now? $80,000 a show?
That's funny.
I noticed you flew your private jet over here.
Oh, yeah.
See how much better we are than the people who have just decent jobs?
Well, whatever. It takes all kinds to make it work.
That's capitalism.
Yeah. That's how it works.
No, I don't know. I think that divides the people too, though, Glenn. Like, I'm a notch up in status above this next person, so I'm better than them. I'm successful. Why would I stand up for their rights? I got my own stuff going on. Cool.
Well, that's, that whole nihilist attitude. I mean, it might be cool for a film noir movie, but that's not the way you have a civilization.
But that's exactly what we have.
I know.
That's exactly what we have, man. It's just like anyone economically under you past a certain point to these people is like scum, and they're so much better than these people. And then the people above them, they see themselves as being equal to, but just not yet there. but yet the people above them look down at them as scum.
Yeah.
It's really sick, dude. It's really, really sick.
I would sum that up by saying they have their priorities all fucked up.
They do. I definitely. Yeah, and I mean, people just let this stuff happen, and we keep going back to that. People need to do something, and until they do, we're going to be stuck in this rut, and it's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse.
Yep.
Like, how long are you going to wait before you say, screw this, I'm not going to let it go any further? Like, there's future people, you know, it's not just us. Well, you know, there might be future people depending on how we handle stuff now. It's just, we can't be greedy and selfish. It's like, we got to look at the future, not about us who aren't going to be here that much longer. We got to look like people in 100 years from now, and 200 years from now, and 500 years from now. And if you're destroying the earth and polluting the crap out of it with these big corporations, wars all over the place, and keeping these people in poverty and sick and not able to afford health care, that's not ensuring a good future for anybody. You got kids born into homelessness. You got kids born into poverty. And you always have.
Yep.
This isn't anything new.
No.
Like, all this stuff that we're complaining about more now as a whole is because social media, and we now have a way to see it in our face every day. Where before we didn't. I mean, homeless people were always here. There's more now, obviously, because more people are in poverty because the system's more screwed up than it used to be.
By design.
Yeah. I mean, they used to keep only certain groups of people in poverty intentionally, which was bad enough. But now it's like, we'll keep those groups in poverty, but let's see who else we can impoverish to make another buck.
Well, I mean, that's what globalism brought us. Never before the 1980s could the rich elite all over the world have the connectivity that they do now. It is now, they have become people that don't need a nation because they have a shitload of money. They can just go where they want, stay where they want. Everything seems to work out, you know? This is what's changed. So it's not just the rich in this country want to shit on this group in their country. Now you can go shit on the bottom people all over the world. So color and religion don't mean as much as it used to. Now it's just about income.
Exploiting people for money.
Yeah.
Hey, Stuart. Oh, go ahead.
No, I had nothing to say.
Oh, I was going to say, Stuart said, do you think the elite think about the future? That's one thing he's never been able to figure out.
Well, it's very limited, though. They see the future in their bubble only. And it's all about their kids going to Ivy League or Oxford or Cambridge or wherever and setting them up to do the same damn thing. Be rich because they were born into it. And help us get richer. Get a job.
Yes, I don't see the future probably on a world scale as far...
No.
Unless it pertains to them, but they don't say, oh, we might destroy the earth before we have 2 more generations of our glorious family.
No. Because as far as things like water and that go, we've got money. We'll have water. Don't worry about it.
Arrogance is blindness. And that's true, yeah, Ben. We have money. We'll always have what we need. We can always get the stuff the way we need it and screw everybody else.
Exactly.
I wonder maybe if their goal is to let everyone die off so only the rich can repopulate the world.
Well, there is that theory.
I'm gonna start a conspiracy theory like that. If I could find a way to incorporate the lizard people, it's gonna be awesome.
Get tax-free status.
Yeah, we start a religion. Hey, off subject again. What's up with this Catholic Church again, man? Again, and they're still standing up, protecting it. I mean, protecting these priests and apologizing for them.
Well, you remember what I said about once history is written, it cannot be turned on its ass? That's exactly what's happening with the Roman Catholic Church. We have never admitted it before, and that's the way it's going to fucking stay. Because we just can't abandon everything that's happened, everything that's been written. You know?
Why don't we pass some laws that say religions cannot be non-profit? That would be awesome. Like, why do these sick groups preaching fairy tale stuff to the gullible get non-profit status?
It's just the way it's always been.
Well, things need to change. But no, yeah, I don't know what it was, some talk show I was watching, and I guess one of the, I don't know how the Catholics all really work, but you know, they got the head priest, and then they got the Pope, and then they got the head priest for each area.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the head priest is a bishop. Okay, well, yeah, the bishop for, what was it, Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, wherever this happened, he said something to the effect like they weren't all rapes because there wasn't penetration. So the host of this show said, well, good. I hope when you go to prison, then you don't bitch about getting raped. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Yeah, but how sick is that? You know, instead of saying these people are horrible people and I don't condone this, you're going to start to apologize like, oh, can we really call it rape on all the cases? How sick are you, dude? That dude just needs, man.
But, you know, as the way they see it, everything's at stake.
How? How?
2,000 years of history is at stake if they finally admit that this is a permanent problem that they have, and they have been unwilling to fix it for who knows how many hundreds of years.
Oh, how does that erase? I mean, wouldn't it be better if they said, look, we just cleaned house right here. This stuff's been going on too long. I'd respect that a lot more.
Yeah, but you're not religious.
So a religious person would rather them just keep molesting children than to stop that.
They would prefer it remain invisible, yes. Because that's like, because if they actually come out and say, okay, yeah, this has been going on for generations, it's going to stop for real, all these people are toast, then that breaks their faith. And they lose them forever.
How?
Because that's like being told that, I don't know, I got to compare it, some sort of iconic thing. That's like being told that Babe Ruth was a drunk if you were a kid in New York in the 20s. That just completely blows everything out of the fucking water. And you probably won't be a Babe Ruth fan anymore.
Because it was illegal?
Well, just because he was the hero. He was going to hospitals and this and that. Yeah, well, he was also up all night smoking cigars, drinking, and fucking women. So, you know, it's just a complete paradox to the image that is sold.
But, okay. But that's Babe Ruth's personal life. Maybe he doesn't want that out. This is a institution that takes tax dollars from us and has access to people's kids 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I think there's a huge difference. And I would think if I was a member of that religion, I would think it would be way awesome for them to say, hey, we're going to put a stop to this. It will never be tolerated again. We'll turn these cats in ourselves. And why does it mean? I mean, doesn't that seem like that would be the thing? Like now they're righteous.
But it runs the risk of breaking the faith of people who have been members of their church for generations, because in their mind, this is not possible.
But it's been all over the news. They know it's happening. What's the difference of stopping it and acknowledging it?
But the church hasn't said it's happening.
Oh, it's one of those. If they don't, I get it.
Yep.
Cult mentality.
Because if they're devoted to the church, they look to the church for advice in all things to do with their life. So if the church hasn't said so, then no.
Wow.
Yep.
I guess that's got to be it, because there's no other explanation why they wouldn't have stopped this already.
Well, I was speculating about this a few weeks ago, and I was thinking about the most popular brands in the world. And the Olympics are number one. A World Cup is number two. I believe McDonald's is number three. And right after them is the Roman Catholic Church.
Wow.
I mean, you can go anywhere in the world and you're going to find Roman Catholics. Anywhere.
Crazy.
Yeah. You know, that's what the Mormons strive to achieve.
Yeah,
Sorry.
The Mormon Vatican. Where would that be, in Utah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking of something, but now
It's not important?
must not be, because I'm stoned and I don't care.
No, but I agree. It is a perverse, sadistic order. And that's, you know, as far as I'm concerned, that's all part of heavy-duty organized religion. Doesn't matter which one it is. They all got this kind of shit going on.
Yeah, but
Because
this is a
it's
real
condoned.
problem. Yeah.
It's condoned. That's why it's so widespread. It's just like D.C. Why is the corruption so perversively spread? Because it's allowed. You know? Same thing. Same core issue.
Yeah.
Allowance.
Man. I think maybe the Pope listens to this show sometimes, so
You
hey,
do, huh?
Pope. What?
You do, huh?
Yeah, so Pope, you know, if you catch this episode, you need to stop that shit. You need to tell the people, like, this will not be tolerated. And I won't keep calling you an asshole if you do that. And really mean it. Like, you got to punish these priests, you know. Maybe the Pope needs to get a guillotine in the middle of Vatican Square or whatever they call it. And,
Will it be live streamed?
Sure. Let that be a lesson to you other priests.
They could make a lot of money.
They love money. There it is. Get some more gold stuff on your Vatican walls.
Papal executions live.
Hey. Don't get me all excited here, Glenn.
Interesting.
It's not going to happen.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said,
Well,
the
you
Pope's
can
one
always,
of our casual listeners, so maybe eventually he'll hear this episode and get a clue.
well, you could always change over to Saudi state media and watch beheadings anyway, so.
Yeah, but pedophile priest, that would be something I'd like to see.
They must have a suggestion box.
I'm like this though. If you're a Catholic, you support that stuff. If you're not fighting it,
that's just it. If you say that to a Catholic, what do you think the defense is going to be? It's just going to be no, fuck you, because it's too drastic.
You can say no all you want, but you do. I mean, that's the way it is.
Yeah, but
it's like saying, "Oh, you're a Trump supporter, but you're not racist." No, that doesn't. How? Same thing. But, you're a Catholic, but you're not cool with child molestation. That's impossible.
Yeah, this is the reaction that's starting to get documented and has been going on for, since the Tea Party days. If you give something that completely invalidates the core belief, then they just won't listen. Period. It doesn't matter if you're right. You're attacking the basis of their system. So, no. That's it.
Whatever.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I stand by what I said. If you're a Catholic and you're not going crazy right now, writing letters, talking to your priests or whatever, and complaining about how the hell are we letting this happen, then you are totally cool with it. That's just the way it is. They can say whatever they want. Fuck them. Fuck the Pope.
Oh, you won't be listening anymore now.
Well, I said that because he hasn't responded about this yet. We should see the Pope in the chat. Why don't we see that?
Okay, that's a little too much. I don't think the Pope's going to be in our speaker chat ever.
If the Pope popped up in the chat right now, you'd say, "Holy hell!"
Yeah, so somebody's going to make a troll account, the Pope, and show up.
Oh no, I meant like the real Pope.
Yeah, okay.
He'll have a blue check mark by his name. He'll just be the Pope.
Well, he better fucking post in English, not Latin.
You don't got Google Translate?
I don't have time for that shit. I'm on air.
Oh. Okay, what?
We should be able to program one of the computers in our palatial studio to do an auto-translate for me.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
Maybe one of the robots can just do it and walk up to you and tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, we have all these robots.
All named Soros.
Soros with numbers. Like Soros 3, Soros 4. Oh, man. Are they
That's
like
tangent.
I think they're like Voltron. Like there's little animals that make up each one of them.
Oh, I was thinking more like Dalek.
What is that?
Daleks. The fucking danger.
You mean the Lost in Space?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I always thought his name was Robbie.
Yeah, that fits.
Oh man. Anyway, yeah, we're way off on some kind of weird tangents here, so maybe we should like wrap up the show.
All right.
Anything else we need to bring up, Glenn?
I don't think so. Big panic in Canada. Another pipeline stopped dead in the courts. Well deserved. This could slow things down by at least a year. So yeah, lots of political bullshit going on up here, all over a fucking pipeline that's not needed. But welcome to Canada.
In this year, and like this time of where we are right now, we don't need pipelines anymore. There's renewable energies.
That's right.
They should be illegal. They shouldn't be able to add any more, and they should start eliminating the current ones. And if a bunch of rich people aren't rich anymore, that's capitalism, right? Oh well, we're moving on. You should have thought about that.
That's just it, though. This entire project is meant to do one thing: make some people a lot of money. That's it. It's not because there was a need. It's not because there were markets to move into. It's just so some people can get rich. That's all.
Yeah, they don't care.
No.
But it should be illegal. It should be like, look, we're not using fossil fuels anymore. Or if we are, it's very limited, so whatever we already got, that's good. We don't need to fight any more wars to steal oil. We don't need any more pipelines to pump oil. We don't need any of that. What we need now is new ways to power things up.
Yeah, but the only way that this machine we have now keeps running is by doing shit like this. More war, more hydrocarbons, more the way we've been doing things.
Well, good. Then we need gremlins all up in the machine to destroy it.
There's a big change coming from the ISO, the International Shipping Organization, which is a part of the UN. There's going to be a big change in the pollution standards for oil that runs every shipping line in the world, bunker oil. And bunker oil is sourced mostly from Canadian tar sands. So they want to build a pipeline to ship a product that's going to be 50% more unprofitable within a year. So
someone's making a crap load that first year.
Well, not just that, but there are contracts signed for suppliers.
Oh, yeah.
So until the market collapses, yeah, they'll be shipping, they'll be making their money. Then if they don't have any more sales and they don't use their capacity in the pipeline, they still pay. The pipeline could be empty and they would be making money off it.
It's ridiculous.
Yep.
Man. So anyway, fuck pipelines. That's how we're ending today.
Okay.
So yeah, next week the View Up Here is back at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday, right?
Correct.
And we'll be back here next Friday unless there's something we do before next Friday.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and thanks to all the people listening, and thanks to Stuart, Acorn Electron, and the Pope who are all in the chat today. And we'll see everybody next time.